I've been working really closely with the Arts Council Collection over the past 3 years as part of the National Partners Program. And doing so has enabled me to come today to the Curators Day for the Venice Biennale. So it's really exciting for me because as a gallery educator and engagement manager, it's not a world that I might normally get access to. But working really collaboratively with the ACC team has let me come here today and get to see the Biennale kind of as its first opening with so much activity on, have access to not just the displays in the pavilions, the exhibitions, but also the teams behind them, so the artists and the curators, and obviously the Arts Council Collection team too. And exploring that with a group of peers is very interesting. Today I saw Scotland's Pavilion here, so looking at Charlotte Prodger's work, SAF05, and it's a single channel video installation, and it's kind of a trilogy piece in a way, so it follows on from the Stony Mullen Trail and Bridget, so separate works but kind of a three-parter if you think of it that way, and look at the narrative and the perspective of the artist that's come through on all three of those. It's named after a lioness, where there is some footage of a lioness that is bearded and displays characteristics, behaviors, and appearances that would be classed more as male in terms of lion behavior and looks and appearance. So Charlotte kind of looked at that as a starting point for exploring queer identity, then also looking at the way that she explores memory and presence, and also landscape from her own experiences. What I thought was quite interesting is how she explores the physicality of the equipment that she uses. So it might be using a phone or a drone or kind of, more sophisticated film equipment, but thinking about not just using it to get the footage, but the physical properties of the movement of the equipment and how that works in space. You're looking at the footage that was captured, but while that footage was being created, you can really sense the way that the equipment was maybe being held or moved or manipulated. So that it's not just the footage itself, but the sort of methods that were in place and the movements and the physicality of the process to create that footage. I think being at the Biennale and being able to see a work like this firsthand in a site that it was made for made me think a lot about how the spaces we explore shape us. When you are taking part in watching the artwork and you are seeing what the artist is putting forward, and there's quite a lot of information as well about her experiences, identity, and presence. You can't help but think about the space that you're in and how those spaces shape us and our experiences.